hop into it and we can see if the LGD tradition was going to be continuing here or if it is time to make a change. Again, as we were emphasizing at the start of the series, a lot goes into especially these first couple of bans and picks when there's a lot of high priority targets out there.
The OG, we know, is a team that never really stops practicing. They always look, even if they're on top, they still look for new ways to try to win their games and new ways to improve.
They're on the same side again. So someone actually chose. You know who won the coin
picked
toss?
Dire.
Do you know who won the coin toss?
I know that LGD was first pick and maybe in last game, and this time they are also first pick in.
So OG picked Dire, right?
So OG picked Dire.
So the first time LGD won, they picked first pick, and then OG picked Dire here.
I remember someone saying that Radiant side's actually the side with the winning advantage right now by 56.
Yeah, but then
+%.
I also remember Scan was telling me, I think today, he said that only 3 teams that actually like 3 games that were teams that specifically won Radiant. Otherwise, it's either you get first pick or you go for Dire. Those are the 2 things teams are mostly going for.
So if you're Team OG and you're favoring Dire, like what does that say to us right now? Like they preferring a draft around the Roche maybe they're really trying to mind game LGD a bit, or just
I think more Roche.
But personally, I think there's also another factor. The offlane is easier though. Do you guys realize that it's easier to, if you're trying to body block the creeps as Dire, offlane is easier and the creeps are somewhat slower. I don't know if you guys noticed.
I thought that was
the tinfoil hat here.
It's a little.
Yeah, it's a little slower. It's still like that.
Because I'm bad at blocking, don't get me wrong, but I thought it was like me, and because you have your camera panning a different side, that I thought that might have been the reason that it might be more difficult to do
and the
it
creeps
like
more.
They're so slow.
There's a point where in the offlane where the creeps will go fast. In the Radiant side, it's earlier, it's faster, but on the Dire, the
it's right
creeps.
next to the tower.
Yeah, the creeps run faster, slower for some reason. I don't know why, but.
Okay, exact same track.
Is this a replay?
Game number 1.
No, but LGD would probably do something else. I kind of.
Second pick, Tiny.
I kind of feel they won't do the same thing anymore. It didn't work, and it was evident that there was something wrong with the overall strategy. The course, like, I don't know. If they go for the same course, I'll be really surprised.
What do you think there, Draskell?
I don't know. I mean, the last game, the way that OG draft in general, and
look at him. He's like laughing. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think they're quite pleased with the opening. Like, all right, we've seen this before. We can deal with it. But I think we were talking about it during the game. Is the win condition from OG's drafts are typically very easy. Like if you watch the dynamic of the last game, it was extremely slow paced for quite a long time, and it really didn't feel like LGD had any opportunity to do anything. Winner even said they didn't make any huge mistakes. Just that their lineup it had an almost impossible win condition versus what OG needed to do, which was literally just farm. We won all 3 of our lanes. We keep farming. We auto win.
Cast your spells.
There's use your abilities. Like you can't lose. And I think that's just attributed to the fact that Fly has a very good understanding of the game. And as a captain, if you can give yourself a very easy win condition, you always want to.
The hell's happening? So they are going to be opening the same opening here on LGD's side. Of course, we gotta say that there is a plausible concept that ROTK could take this Enchantress to the off lane, but otherwise LGD are kind of putting their hand out there as far as a support duo.
At least they're banning out Razor, so they're not going to be dealing with that anymore. I mean, they know the draft that OG had previously, right? Then they think like we can deal with it. If it was just a little bit different from OG, we can execute this draft better than we did previous game.
I think that Razor can be replaced.
Yeah,
Viper,
OD, kind of lane dominators that could fill in.
I'm not disputing that, but I mean, it seems like LGD is confident that they can do it with that lineup that they have.
I mean, you should always have faith in your team's ability to execute, but at the same time, there's a limit. Like, you can't be super stubborn and allow them to get the same kind of thing that they did last time, and that's why, obviously,
they won't pick the same lineup.
Yeah, but I also would like to see our TK on something like maybe Tide. I feel like that's a comfort thing for him. Yeah. And I also feel like it's just good against teams who want to pick Bat and heroes like Venge as well.
They can just doom him.
Yeah, I mean, they could just doom him. But that also depends on if they want to pick Doom again.
Yeah, that's why if you have a better early game lineup, maybe OG would think twice of drafting a greedy jungler like Doom, you know? Because if you have strong lanes, I might consider maybe we can't really survive the early game if we go for a Doom jungle, so we have to pick more conservatively. So that would probably be an important factor in deciding whether they go for the Doom or not.
I want to say 8-1 LC.
I also feel like the way that OG are picking.
Sorry, 8 to 9 steps.
You don't
I'm
sound
sorry,
right.
Joska.
No,
That was with
okay,
like the
it's okay.
bear, right? And they had like the Alacrity LC bear, steroid bear.
That was awesome.
It
You can also
was.
just you can be the oracle and just dispel the lasso.
That was very clever. It was enjoyable to watch, but unfortunately, Lone Druid is banned out. We won't get to see any sort of steroid bear in this one. Night Stalker being banned out.
Yeah, that is like a
Very good
counter to
against
Bat
Bat,
Rider
yeah.
because he can't see in the dark and then you can't lasso.
Ah,
It's so hard though.
is that how it works? All right, OG. We'll see if they kind of keep the same. When did they get third pick in the previous game? Was it the third Doom?
Yeah, it was
Didn't
Doom.
they
Not
go
going to be as
Razor?
unpredictable this
Didn't
time,
they go
though.
Razor?
It was Doom
Oh.
Razor.
It was Doom
Razor.
Razor.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Confirmed.
but it would not be nearly as unpredictable this time. So this is probably where we're going to be anticipating a bit of a change of pace here.
OG don't need to change it up.
You know, but I think the element of surprise isn't quite as there as it was in game number
Nah,
one.
OG just do that.
But OG are just OGs, and
If they
don't care.
win, they'll just pick the same thing and
But do
make
you
you
think-
think it.
that's secret
One of
model,
the other
right?
idea of the Doom in the last game was against the Ench because it's really good versus Ench. If it's
just
a
run
core,
into
if
it.
it's a core Ench, you just Doom him
Yeah.
and he can't do anything.
And you can't harass because of the Devour.
Yeah, because you take away the creeps.
Very cool concept.
This game maybe OG feel like Enchanters might, I don't know, maybe like you guys say, there's nothing wrong with the strat just now, why not just do the same thing again, you know?
Oh, you gotta be serious. They are going to be doing a bit of a run back here. Doom once again.
Okay,
making
we're
his
going for
ugly
the
face
same
show.
type of lineup. And the same type of play, same type of timings, everything. Razor, what's the best hero to replace him with?
I believe Ben mentioned Viper,
Yeah.
which could be
Viper
really,
OD.
Viper, OD.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also,
even
that
Voker's
also
still up
works
there.
in terms of timings and everything?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You win your lane and then you just push.
I think Razor has a pretty linear power curve. Like, he doesn't really get to a point where all of a sudden, oh, I hit like 11, now I'm super
Now
strong.
ready.
He just kind of gradually gets better.
I mean, we always have to mention on the side, I have seen Big Daddy play Doom in the past as a safe lane kind of farmer, so there is flexibility there. And oh goodness, something's different.
ROTK's Enchantress this game.
ROTK's Enchant. Game, you're right with Visage coming out now. I can't help but like get this. They have played the Drow Visage earlier today.
Yeah, didn't really
In that particular draft, I was actually suspecting that was going to be the Sylar Lycan. So
Dakota, if you have Drow on your team, the Enchantress has Face Boot, you're gonna have a lot of fun as a core Enchantress.
that's true.
Who would you place on mid? If there is a draw beside.
Wind Ranger is one of the most common.
Yeah, Wind Ranger.
Wind Ranger or
It's like you
Invoker.
need to fit maybe's playstyle. You need to give him like, he's like Sumia, so I would say Wind Ranger.
I think Puck is also a
Yeah, I
really
was
good
gonna say, does he
pairing
play
with these
Puck?
heroes. It's
I think
good
Wind
part
Ranger
of
scales
rotation
so much
and-
Puck
better.
is like very all in because if you look at their overall lineup,
I mean, did you see what they did last game?
yeah,
That was mega all in.
I mean, it's good with the heroes to have. I'm not saying Puck is bad.
Have a candy.
It's good with Visage, you know, it helps the Enchantress deal damage. And yeah, it was the last game they were worse. It was worse for them. They were mega all in.
Now OG
And
can sense that.
Slug is actually pretty weak versus Enchantress in the lane because you rely a lot on your right click if you're trying to kill her. So that might get troublesome if you're up against Enchantress.
And I also think that good against Slark as well. Gives you some abilities you can hit through Shadow Dance and
If
get
they go
opening
for the same
silence.
hero set.
Yeah, of course, if they were to pick up Slark.
I mean, you're possibly anticipating that
You
Drow
say
Visage
they
coming
can't.
up now, so I wager that OG are going to have to do something about it. They're
I like
chewing through
Invoker
the Berserk
most.
time.
I think Invoker's the most flexible of all of them. If they go for a push, like
What about Luna instead of Drow for Vision at nighttime against that?
Luna's great too.
Okay, this is a good hero versus the Ench because either you want a core that has spell damage, which is either Juggernaut or Gyro. These two are the strongest in the lane versus Ench. But I mean,
Can
right.
these two heroes actually kill Ench though? If you get the
Yeah,
heal off
you can.
and you have boots, you can still
Because
kill.
the way you take, the way you play Enchantress now is mostly you get enchant first. You want to get a creep.
Oh yeah, people don't skill.
Yeah, you don't get the heal. You don't get the heal that early. So I think the biggest thing that they need to do for OG right in this game for the Enchantress is you want to block. Maybe you body block the camp nearest to the lane, and then you use a sentry on the camp near the Ancients.
Why don't you just put Doom there and just eat her creep if she ain't?
Okay, that's fine too. That's fine too. As long as you stop the Enchantress from getting a creep.
So obviously, Sylar are going to make the commitment for the Lycan here. The OG still have room to pick up that other support. Anything popping out? I mean, I couldn't help but Think about maybe like the Witch Doctor a little bit. Good against the
mean
Ench,
for
good
OG?
against the Lycan. For OG, yeah. For
Yeah,
OG.
but they have Doom and Bench. Those two are their supports already. They need a mid laner, right? For the last pick.
It is last pick for LGD this game. Is there a chance they'll throw curveball and maybe put like a mid and still go for the draft at all?
Like an intro or
Invoker was down out against them.
But I think maybe does play. I think I've seen him play Lycan as well. I remember, but very rare.
yeah, usually it's Sailor.
So
In the middle.
OG is looking to go to pick a mid hero. Does I think Big Daddy plays the Jug, right?
Yes.
No tail plays Jug.
Yes.
Yeah. So they need a miracle hero for the mid lane, which yeah, lineup.
He plays a lot of different heroes.
5 seconds remaining.
We're curious. I know Channel My Internet Haas here. Lycan for LGD coming into this match. I believe they have 5 matches with a 4-1 record.
10
I
Found
want to see the
success
return of
with
the
that.
Shadow Fiend.
I mean, they can still put Juggernaut mid if they want to, because we've seen it
5
do well in mid
seconds
too.
remaining.
Depending
Shadow
on their
Fiend's
match.
so stinky against Lycan. Correct. Oh.
Wait, this is I think this is No-Tail's hero because he played the
He's
Brute
done it mid lane.
Yeah.
mid or safe lane before, and I think because of their composition, Juggernaut is the hero that needs the most farm. So Miracle will play Juggernaut, and
Yeah.
Brood Mother will most likely be played by No-Tail.
I mean, he's a micro god. When I first saw him that one game that they pulled it out, I remember at the time, like, I wouldn't put it past, No-Tail to be playing
And
something
they-
like the Brood.
Can they
They don't have D push, on LGD right now. They don't have D push.
Can they pick
except for-
Ember and send Lycan mid now? They have to do something
Yeah,
crazy.
Ember will be nice,
The best one.
but it will be like weak in the lane though. But
10
it's a good
seconds
idea to
remaining.
deal with the Brood.
5
What else
seconds
can deal with the
remaining.
Brood?
I mean, tied, but not
Oh,
really
this is
bad.
good. Yeah, this is good. This
He's
is great.
actually not banned.
This is great. The great cleave, and it actually does better in the laning phase. Like Ember is much more vulnerable in the early game. So
I'm so used to seeing it banned in the second phase that I just didn't even think about it being in the pool.
Is it enough to beat OG though?
yeah, they have much better chances than last game for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
And they have a very clear plan, good lanes obviously, and good way to deal with the Brood. And they have a lot of damage. Visage, their supports scale really well. They have a good core like Lycan plus the Sven. They have a lot of damage between their cores. And Chancellor's offlane is very, very difficult to deal with too. So I think they have a really good chance this game.
I think Sven's like the breakout hero so far.
Yeah.
He is like just used versus everything. Drow, Shraz, Brood.
But most of the games he's been played the same way, right? Max cleave, right?
Max
No
cleave,
one has been
50.
doing more than 1 point in stun so far.
Definitely a lot of mid lane showing too. Something that I believe Parker was talking about in our last series, something that a lot of the C teams have kind of been picking up and a lot of teams have been adapting to a bit, but it looks like we will have a game here. LGD, will they be able to secure a win and take it to a game 3, or will OG be able to secure that first spot in the upper bracket for this group with a win here? We'll find out. Let's go ahead and send it over to Capitalist and Blitz. Gentlemen, have fun.
Oh yes, we're definitely going to have fun with this one since it's game number 2 of LGD versus OG. We have a Lycan, which I'm super excited about because I thought this was going to be one of the stronger carries of this patch. I thought it was finally going to come into vogue essentially at this tournament, but things got a little bit more interesting with the 5th picks as well, because then all of a sudden OG, they decided to Brood Mother GD, which is always alarming. The last pick Brood Mother as an enemy team, you got to worry about that one. But LGD countered it with the Sven pickup. The Great Cleave, we've seen this before. Blitz, is this
30
actually
seconds
enough?
to battle.
Running the Lycan as a mid hero and then putting the Sven safe lane to deal with the Brood Mother?
No.
No, not at all.
Because you're putting a Lycan against a Bat Rider. What are you supposed to
Oh, I think I've heard this story before. Something Razor versus Tiny. Okay.
Like,
Maybe this is a constant issue with LGD.
That's no, it's not even an LGD thing. I actually think it's an OG thing.
Yeah.
OG, no matter what they do, they prioritize lanes. So like,
The
I don't care what happens in the rest of the game, as long as your players just are super unhappy the entirety of the game. Like, and the other dining characteristic about OG heroes is that they're all hard to gank. And that's something that I wanted to bring up in the last cast, and is even more prevalent this time around. Think about the nature of their heroes. How many heroes does it take to kill a Brood Mother? 2 minimum, 3 to be safe. A Juggernaut, there's almost no guarantee of getting that kill, especially because they have no BKB breakers, right? So they have nothing that pierces spell immunity. So Jug is such a low percentage kill, which means once again that No-Tail is your only option. And because crit's so deep into the jungle, it's literally limited to this one hero. and I wanted to bring that up because I wasn't able to this time around. So expect No Tail to get hated on, like time and time again.
Well, right now, LGD are going to be spending a bit more time trying to shut down the Brood Mother, who's currently hiding in the trees on this right-hand side, staying well away from this little clutch area, as you already see MMY has laid down kind of ward in. I like this coupling ward with Mother to be able to see the supports and their rotations and potentially where they lay down their counter wards. Boon's just soaking up experience for now. He's kind of doing his job. The supports are staying at this bottom lane, and that's the best point. Obviously, if they don't rotate mid, then No Tail's just going to destroy the Lycan.
No Tail should get more or less free farm out of this lane. So we're seeing right now is he's pretty much going to be uncontested, which is going to lead the Enchantress this time around to just send a creep. And I like this move by RTK because last time I felt like they almost devoted too much to trying to shut down No Tail because they knew he was their only gank target. This time around, they're just going to play things a little bit more passively. I felt like that's what they had to do. It almost just felt like they were panicked, which is weird because they have so many veterans cap. It was like they were saying, we have to do this, guys.
Right.
Like, we have to gank this guy or we're just going to lose the game.
It's also a nature of the matchup, right? You do need Sven to at least get to like level 3, maybe even level 4 or 5 before he really matches up against the Brood Mother team.
Usually some levels with Great Cleave and
yeah,
you're okay, but I know you don't play Brood Mother much, but I presume this is fine. Like he'll just get levels, once he gets level 3 he'll get 2 in webs and he'll be fine.
I mean, he's going to have pretty good access to the Radiant jungle. He doesn't need to keep the Spiderlings in lane. That's the worst thing for you, right? Is that if you do have a good hero that's able to passively deal with the Spiderlings, you just got to make sure you don't feed them away to the carry. Get some extra farm out of the jungle. And this is still going to be able to scout out the support rotations. If you are playing more in the jungle as a Brood Mother, you should know what the supports are up to. You don't see them anywhere. They're obviously ganking mid.
You see what the Batrider's doing, by the way, during this time period? Because nobody's harassing at the bottom lane, and his moon's not really being messed with. He's probably telling No Tail, like, be a little bit careful before you just play on the high ground and harass this Lycan.
Yeah.
Wait for the creep wave to come on your end, and No Tail's doing so, and everything is pretty good so far. But this time, gonna go on Sylar. Both the MMY and ROTK are nearby, so he's got to be careful if he dies, but he should get the first blood.
Yep, he's going to be able to pick up the kill nice and early. ROTK getting some turnaround damage, but it's not going to be enough to get a kill. So once again, OG start things off right with the first blood.
LGD had to know that something like this was going to happen. OG, of all the teams prioritize their lane so much that they're giving No Tail such a favorable matchup, and this is the response from LGD. Like, you have to dominate the other 2 lanes in this case, but they're not doing so. The Juggernaut's winning pretty handily at top like we expected. The Brood Mother is soaking up experience. Moon's gonna do just fine, and now the Batrider's gone a solo kill on this mid lane.
Alright, well here comes the mid lane smokes. They are going to be able to catch No Tail this time around with the Telekinesis Hellbear smash, and No Tail will end up dying. He gets a lot of damage on Sylar before he does go down, but at least he was able to claim that first blood earlier.
I don't think people realize like how big of a deal it is when a level 5 hero kills a level 5 hero. You can gain so much experience out of that solo. Just demoralizes. There's always a psychological factor that you think of. Once again, LGD's focus is entirely on trying to shut down this mid lane because too much to kill Moon. There's absolutely zero hope that they're going to kill Miracle, I think. As soon as Miracle grabs a TP, do you think there's any way they can kill him?
No. I mean, they would have to be... Probably have to wait until they have the Blink Dagger, right, on Sven. And even then, it's just, as you were talking about before, playing the reaction game, which is unlikely against Miracle. There is an animation to Stormbolt, so if they try and blink on top of the Juggernaut, he Stormbolts instantly. There's still going to be a small window of time where Miracle can spin. Just be out.
This is such a weird decision too. You notice that LGD have completely abandoned this top lane? ROTK is just like, I'm gonna get my own. And that's not what I feel like the Enchantress forecast. I feel like this Enchant hero, you're able to actually play the one-on-two matchup. I think as long as the Jug, once he uses the initial spin, the Enchantress is okay, right? Yeah. I played this matchup before, and yeah, the Enchantress can survive.
Yeah, as long as the Enchantress makes sure you don't die from like the first like level 1, level 2 area, where you're really low in stats and they could just stun spin on you.
Oh, the bottom
That's
trigger.
what the boot's first for.
I'm really surprised that ROTK has just completely abandoned that, and Moon even picks up the courier at bottom, and No, I never feel like it's okay to just completely abandon the off lane. Get a little bit more farm.
This leaves this Vengeful Spirit free to do whatever she wants. She can essentially just leave lane. Have Miracle pick up all the solo experience. Things with the jungle creep. Actually gonna try and make some sort of weird rotation to catch out the Batrider, but he's just gonna go up on the cliff, and I'm not sure what a wolf does about that.
Wolves can't climb.
They cannot. So, Batrider is going to remain supreme here for now. Crit seems to be caught out though in the middle lane. Looks like ROTK did manage to get an enchant on him, slowing him down, and they will actually get a kill out of that Siler ultimate. But that really just feels like a bit of mispositioning there from Crit.
The only heroes that they can kill right there are him or No Tail, which they're going for right now. They probably wouldn't have able to if he hadn't left the jungle point, but things are okay right now for LGD. Much better start than it was last game, but EDC is going to get gone on. He doesn't have boots and doesn't have the turn rate to be able to go around the Brave Chill.
So he's going to be pulled back by the lasso, guaranteed kill there. ROTK, you still got to be playing careful. No Tail is definitely willing to stay on top of you here, and in fact, ROTK is probably going to be dying here with a flame break. It's not quite enough damage, takes him down to about 14 HP, and OG still trying to run after him with Crit. Unfortunately, he's just not fast enough to be able to catch him with that Scorched Earth.
During this time period, though, Miracle gets the tower kill at top, continues to get absolute free farm. I believe that's a Ring of Aquila flying to him. It is, so nothing too unusual about his build. I think the only thing I'm kind of curious to see is if he goes for something more fighting, grabs the drums, or if he goes the Battle Fury. It was actually popularized by CDEC's carry, Aggressive. He was like one of the first to bring that back into the meta.
What would be the pros and cons of either side, right? Juggernaut with Battle Fury would be able to be more a stronger carry, but don't you have incentive to just focus on the early to mid game?
But it's Miracle, and about what his team does for him. They just kind of allow him to prioritize his own farm, guarantee that he gets his own, and in mid, EDC is going to get rotated on.
Well worth the quick rotation. Juggernaut's one of those fighting carries where, very similar to Juggernaut, or Gyrocopter rather, is that you're always able to bring him into a quick fight. Omni Slashes off cooldown, why not go for that quick kill at mid?
Yeah. I think Miracle and the way that OG want him to play, by extension, is they kind of just want him to be that hard one position, and at bottom maybe he's going to get gone on. They should have enough damage to bring him down with ease.
Yep, they've got him very much dead to rights. Great rotation there from OG, and there's really no response from LGD on any part of the map. Siler's trying to push down the tier 1 tower, but I'm pretty sure Miracle's going to be able to handle that quite easily. And by the time the mid lane is pushed into the tower, they'll actually be back there in time.
You know what's weird? I've casted with you so many times that I knew you were going to say dead to rights. Like, I mouthed it. Said it.
You know, I've listened to LD cast so many times that I also do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was just like, listen to his cast so many times, and I know he's going to make one of those, like, off with his head. One of those off with his head.
Predictable BTS.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Had to take it to a BTS night, didn't you? Honestly, I think BTS and Join Dota should just join forces and kick you out. Because that's all I hear from you. It's like every single opportunity Blitz has the chance to be able to snipe either JD or BTS, he will take it. And they could be like a minute apart. Mid lane, No Tail's going to be running down ROTK. The heal is not going to be enough to outdo this damage over time. And Megan comes in with God's Strength, trying to go into No Tail, but he's only down to half HP. Turns his attention to Miracle with no spin, but actually going back to No Tail, the actually control to kill him there. That being said, the whole entire time we were talking, OG was focusing on Roshan, which they were able to take towards the end of that fight.
Oh god. Do they have any ancient stacks at least for this fight? Not really.
No.
And I would like to direct your attention to the fact that Moon is about to complete an Orchid at 10 minutes into the game.
And the whole ancient stacking idea here is super going to work out, right? OG got so much control early. Broodmother's naturally going to just control the bottom half of the map, and then OG can control the top half of the map. I'm not sure that even if they did have ancient stacks right now, wouldn't OG just like control it? Whether it's warding, whether it's aggressively, smoking into that area and trying to catch you while you're farming it.
Yeah, I think they definitely should. And Siler's getting a lot of farm here as he's abandoned that Radiant safe lane. Maybe he's confused right now, honestly. Like, in such a weird position where he's not sure what to do. OG with great game sense, they're gonna run directly into Sylar. They're gonna grab him with the Firefly, and the team is gonna go down. Well worth it to bring down the core. This is one of their hopes in this game.
Bouncing back with the flame break, and nice denied. Beautiful play there from Sylar. Now they're actually going to go for Crit next. He pops the mango, pops Gone Strength, is going to try and beat down Crit, and will actually be able to do it as the rest of LGD mounted their response team and are able to get that kill. That being said, look at OG. I mean, that was a kill that they should have had. The Lycan, they managed to take him down, but it was a deny from Sylar. It cost them Crit. If you look at that 1-to-1, if they actually get the kill, it's well worth it. But they're also farming really efficiently. No-Tail's going to interrupt Maybe's attempt to do that ancient sack, and Miracle's going to come in with the Omni Slash, but oh, it doesn't stay on to Maybe. He still has the spin, though. Will be able to take out the one with the TP in. Miracle's not going to go for the Visage. He plays it safe, backs up, and OG will continue to play more of that efficiency game that they are very definitely winning at. Like Moon, I was watching Moon at the bottom lane, and he just TP'd away from top. That that might have been Crit. Someone was pushing out the top lane as well.
And all the while, for OG is always the pressure that you don't necessarily see. For LGD, they're always worried. They're like, Brood now owns the bottom half of our map. Like, just settled in, bought the property rights, the deed's been signed, he's got an Orchid, nobody can survive against that. And he's gonna wait for this Sven to come in and just jump on top of him right now with his ulti pop. But manages to get the Warcry off beforehand, and
yeah, that's a huge difference, right? 15 armor.
Alright. I was like super excited. Damage. I was like, Moon's got this all planned, and it did like 40 damage.
He starts right-clicking the Sven after 2 hits. He's like, oh, this doesn't do anything.
Any other hero though, he would have killed.
They tried to rotate down, still trying to catch the Sven this time around with Fly, No-Tail, and Crit as a 3-man smoke.
Did they spot that?
But
they might have.
Yeah, maybe. They seem to be just giving up on that tier 2 D mid with their own smoke.
Moon even came over without his webs. They see maybe farming up that ancient stack, and they're gonna their way towards him. Really gonna try to run away, but his entire team is right on the other side of the river.
LGD don't have any response to this. They may just have to give up on Maybe. No, they're actually going to turn and fight this one out. Crit is going to be telekinesis, pulled back down. Moon is actually fighting out with Sylar, and Sylar's going to be able to win, but that is the Aegis. Crit's going to be the next target. Sylar is able to take him out. Now, Sylar, he's just a wolf running loose in the chicken pen. He's going to be able to take out at least 2 heroes before this fight is over. The spin by him, but why? They're actually going to be able to get Miracle as well. OG, they just wandered into a pretty disastrous team fight, seeing as how far ahead they were. OG now have to back out. They're going to be able to keep, looks like both Moon and No-Tail alive. RTK is going to be popped by Fly as he comes back into the fight. Moon tries to go in. He's actually going to be torn apart here. Seven Mind with the spin. Second time in a row in this fight. He's going to be able to get a huge amount of damage out. Threatens No-Tail's life to make sure he can't really pursue. A couple sticky napalms, but I think OG, they got to cool their jets a little bit. They're just fighting too aggressively and giving up too many kills to LGD.
Part of the issue too is that they decided to devote so much of their attention to the Enchantress. They even went so far as to doom her, and multiple heroes are trying to right-click her. She was even Orchided at one point, but that's a level 3 untouchable. There's almost nothing that's going to cut through that. And she has treads. I'd like to see her pick up a wand, personally, to make her even more annoying to deal with, but the fact that she was able to live throughout most of that engagement really hurt OG's chances. They focus fire a little bit better, and they collapse onto Sylar, for example, or they just get rid of the MMY to begin with, and maybe that fight goes okay.
But as it is, that fight, even though numbers-wise it wasn't the worst in the world, OG were just so far ahead thanks to all the towers and map control that they've taken. Traits like that are never going to be worth it to OG.
No, LGD is going to be really happy with that engagement. Like, they finally got some farm on Sylar. They're starting to catch up in net worth and opened up the map a little bit. Like, less pressure on the bottom lane, opened up their jungle, they're starting to ward finally. I'm just a little bit afraid still for how they're going to be able to deal with the quad-ish core that they have.
Maybe pulling him back again with the lasso, but a lot of LGD are coming through the jungle. I think Moon kind of knew about that. He did not try and join forces with the Bad Rider at all. He just sat in his little copse of trees, hiding and scouting out with his spiderlings. This is LGD committing so many heroes inside the jungle that Miracle's getting free space to push down the tier 2 at top.
And I kind of agree. OG probably got a little bit too over-aggressive there in that original fight. There's no reason for them to take that fight. In the first game, what they did is they picked them apart, Cap. They never really hard committed to anything. They just frustrated LGD. This time around, they obliged. They get into a 5-on-5 engagement, and LGD were completely ready for it. The best move for OG to make is create space around the map. Make it so that you force LGD to go for these like 5-for-1 engagements.
No, Tail, is he going to be fast enough? No, he's not. Gets blinked on by Maybe, and that will be a successful smoke cake there from LGD. In fact, they're going to try and go for more, but pretty sure they can't catch up with Fly. So maybe just take the tier 1 mid.
Yeah.
Go or beat it.
Kills that matter. That's what you need if you're LGD. You don't want to just go for these individual kills on a hero like Bad Rider. You want them to lead into... I mean, the tier 1 tower control to them is Fly's gonna get caught out here.
Yeah, Fly is really tanky though. Look at that. He's actually tanking pretty decently against this and will be able to escape. My god. I actually did not think he was going to be able to get away from that one. I was just impressed that he was tanking it in general. He's got so much armor. Tranquil Boots, Medallion of Courage, and even a little extra strength out of that Urn of Shadows.
That's kind of sad that they weren't able to kill him. That's like a god strength spend plus an Enchantress, but maybe if ROTK launched it from further back,
yeah, maybe.
He got really close. Moon been up to during this entire time.
Running around, assuming things, turning them into babies. Typical Broodmother.
His farm is really slowed down though. 1.10 minute boots plus Orchid.
Yeah.
Since then he's grabbed phase boots and 600 gold.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Hey, what is it about Orchid? Like, why is it an item here, but normally isn't for Broodmothers?
I'm not sure. I usually don't really like the item because I think it just falls off too fast for a hero like Brood. The point of it is to go for these individual engagements and make it so that nobody can just solo run into your lane. I guess the good thing is against a Lycan and a Ben, it denies their own jungle. Pretty huge. But in most scenarios, I just don't like it because I feel like it's a wasted item. The effectiveness of it dies out so quickly on Brood.
Nice blink away there from No Tail. Firefly over. Enchantress not able to run him down. LGD are instead looking to mid. Not sure what they really plan on doing here. They can turn this kill to pick off on crit. Maybe they can take a tier 2 tower, but I'm looking at OG. They're hardcore pushing up both top and bottom lane. They're always getting the more efficient trade-offs here.
LGD, their stat push is really strong though. They've got Wolves, Warcry, Howl. Not easy to deal with. Plus the Visage Bird.
Yeah, it's the poor man's throw Visage, right? Lycan Visage.
It's kind of neat too though. The Warcry makes things pretty tanky. LGD are finally kind of doing something. In the last game they weren't able to do much. 15 minutes of this game they were locked out, but they're starting to grab objectives, and that's kind of scary that OG aren't willing to fight them. That means OG is starting to finally respect fightability from LGD.
I mean, this is really the point in time where they do actually have some kind of initiation on maybe Lycan's finally a threat because of Necronomicon, right? I'm not sure if OG would actually lose the fight if they took it, but it's probably the best opportunity for LGD, right? They've reached the best timing they possibly could. It's their biggest peak when it comes to items.
What do you do if you're...
He's going back for battle?
Guess so. He does need farm. There's some way to farm. I thought he was going to go for it originally, right?
Yeah.
Before this game, only 3 medallions.
What happened to Medallion of Courage and Solar Crest? They used to be the item. Everyone was getting it.
OS Frog decided that Aether Lens needed to be a thing.
Aether Lens and Veil of Discord needed to be another item.
You know what the weird thing is I know what the idea is. It's just meant to give support heroes like more options. But what ends up happening is when the item originally comes into the game, it's so good that there's no reason.
There are no other options.
Hey, you guys remember Force Staff? Remember when Glimmer Cape was a thing for like a month?
Yeah, that is not so much an item anymore.
Glimmer Cape is so situational now. It's almost been entirely phased out by support. Support is the go-to item now. It's so rare to see it. Same with Force Staff is like sometimes you'll get, but Aether Lens casting range makes it so that you never are out of position to be with.
What do you place LGD's chances?
Probably 30%, 20%.
Yeah, because it's definitely they're definitely losing this game, right? Because the way that OG were able to control it and everything else. But what do they need to do to actually make that 20% work? Talking about how they've kind of hit their timings, but they're 5-manning. They're just not really getting anything out of it. It's the tier 2 mid.
I'm gonna remand that. I think it's closer to like 40, 45%. I think they have a pretty good shot at winning this, honestly. Their 2 melee cores are really strong right now, and there's almost no chance that OG want to fight into the Visage.
Well, they're going to try it anyway. They're going to try a quick pick off on Siler with the lasso and Doom. Are they actually going to follow up that fight? That's perhaps a more interesting question. It is going to be a 4 versus 5, but you committed big time ultimates. LGD aren't even going to try though. They're just going to back out, TP away, and that is everything OG really hoped for, because if they can actually force LGD completely take away from that team fight, then that opens up Roshan. As you can see, OG are going to be able to do it rather quickly. Doing Park Fly's Stallion.
That was so scary. I was just like, everything's cool. Then LGD just like lose a member of their team, and it's just like, bye. See you later. It's like, you know, the Wiz Khalifa songs playing in the background. I was like, I'll see you again. He like slowly respawns, but I don't really know. That was so odd. Like LGD got lulled into this false sense of security, like I did. OG were just like diverting.
We've got like in Necronomicon, it's all good if he's on the front lines, but
he died so.
Yeah, that almost 10k net worth that he has, gone in an instant.
Is
thanks to her.
The thing was is that LGD didn't contest the mid tier 1 or tier 2, so they were probably just like, oh well, OG thinks we're ahead. We're just gonna grab this tier 1, but OG are like, no, that's our Roshan tier 1. We're gonna grab that. Grab the Roshan, and chances now dip a little bit, but LGD still have a decent shot in this game. Like, they've got a Necro 3 on their Lycan, their Sven is pretty huge, probably wait for the BKB. The most important thing for LGD though is for them to consolidate their strength and for them to get the jump, which is why they're looking for the smoke even though OG have that, because they're just not going to really expect it. Bats are going to run in.
Is Moon building Scotty?
Is he?
I mean, he's got an ultimate orb, and he still has the orb of venom.
I don't think I've seen that before. Oh, it's... We might get baited into going for this, but... The birds just get fed away. That was weird.
Hey. Very successful bait.
I was like, what's going on? Just...
lured them into our trap. They took the 200 gold for familiars.
It's like the prank is some guy gives you $100. He's like, joke's on you. I didn't even want that. It's just a prank, bro.
Just a prank. Well, LGD are gonna go for the tier 2, and that is most definitely not a prank. They are gonna commit and take down that tier 2 tower. OG, this time around, they're actually just gonna give it up.
That's so fast.
And they might not actually be able to take the mid tier 2 tower, but they can force LGD back.
The main reason, by the way, guys, that they were willing to fight the tier 1 bottom, but they weren't willing to fight the tier 2 top, is they have no vision in their jungle. And most importantly, they weren't set up at all. If you're going to defend a tower, you have to be ready. Like, everybody on your team has to be good to go before the engagement, but maybe he's just going to jump in and...
That is Mishnik is going to come in from behind, though. He's got the Necronomicon already out right in the middle of things. They do have the Omni Slash. They're actually going to bounce over to Siler with the Doom as well. Siler's most definitely dead. Maybe they can get a deny on him? Maybe? The heal? Oh, he doesn't get it. Miracle comes in with a spin. Doom actually stolen once again by MMI. Managed to turn it around onto Miracle. But I think OG are just going to go for a full extraction from here on out. Notail and Moon are actually going to come in through the back line. MMY is going to be eaten up by the Broodmother, and they're going to look for a little bit more. Maybe he's already down to half HP. Moon dropped low, but he doesn't really care. He's dealing with DDC. Maybe will be caught by Notail. Maybe has to turn and fight. Kills Notail, but ends up dying in the process. And finally, it's going to be DDC who wraps things up. Not sure. Okay, maybe they can go for ROTK. They're going to try get one big crit out of Miracle, but give up the chase. Tier 2, and looks like tier 3 tower as well. There's no buyback from the Sven here.
That looks so weird when an Enchantress is just like running in the middle of the fight and like poking at you, but can't actually do anything more, so you just let her walk away. OG are going to be so happy with that engagement. It just took so long for LGD kind of take that fight. It was really prepared for that. Like, maybe jumps forward, doesn't really have a target to go for. OG, in open fields like that, when you've got so many mobile heroes and the Aegis, that's their dream fight.
Got it to complete on the Broodmother. So
I've never seen that before.
is
that a first for you too? I think I might have seen it once, but it's definitely an irregular.
You know what the best part is? Is when you say something like, I don't think I've ever seen that before, and then a Satsman comes in, actually this is the 128th Gotti seen on Broodmother.
Oh, is that what it was?
No, I was just feel real foolish at that point in time.
I mean, you can't watch all the Dota in the world, right? I remember the best part about I was at the BTS house. LD had just casted a game of Bone7s, and Bone7 had done offlane Spectre, and he never did it in an official. He was just doing it on his stream. He was like, I'd never seen that before, and somebody made like a Reddit thread saying like, LD, you have to watch more Dota. You know, if you'd been watching.
You've been watching Bone7 stream?
Yeah, and I just like saw like his brow furrow, and he's just like, how do I respond to this? Like, I could see the cogs turning in his head.
This is the third Scotty on Broodmother. 28-6. So we've missed the other two.
I know I'd seen it before, but it's pretty odd. I guess it works well against Sven, right? You fight him really well.
Yeah, and the stat increase allows the Broodmother to just latch onto someone with more focus. You're certainly not going to be seeing an NKB out of this Sven anytime soon, so that Broodmother performing that anti-carry role just disables the Sven entirely. 60% movement.
LGD of
plus Scotty.
Bass started running out of steam right now. That bottom tier 1 fight cost them so much. It was like the Roshan plus fight.
And they do have a smoke up in 30 seconds. Maybe that's their turnaround smoke. Also their desperation smoke.
The Aegis has run out. This is probably one of the better opportunities that you're going to get on the map right now, but item-wise, what are we looking for? I guess you get an AC on the Lycan, but chances of getting that in time for the next engagement might be a little bit too late.
Desperately need a BKB on Sven. Should he have gotten that over the SNY?
I think SNY is still okay.
Yeah.
Still there's some mobility and stuff.
Yeah, plenty of disables that go through. Obviously, got Swap, Doom. You could just have physical damage and stuff coming out from the Juggernaut.
Lasso.
Lasso.
Slash.
So many things.
We just listed like half the abilities that OG have.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you how well constructed their lineup is. They don't really care about the item timings of LGD. One they might care the most about might actually be the Assault Curse on Sylar. But I don't think they care too much about the BKB on Sven. It helps maybe, but it's not that item. It's not like when it normally pushes you over the edge, right? Sometimes you get a BKB and you're like, okay, that's the item we were waiting for.
Guys, they've already set a precedent. Lycan may be able to pick up an AC, but it's not going to change OG's strategy in these fights. Just blow everything on Lycan. Brought a Doom, Lasso, Omni Slash, still use everything they have. And it works too. They can jump in for the Bat Rider, trying to crab once again. Sylar, they now use the Orchid as well as the Doom. Everything on his Sylar. Nice deny though from Maybe, and that's actually going to be pretty decent. They buy back now. He still has the Wolf form, so he's going to be able to maybe catch up here. Maybe jumps forward, manage to get the stun onto Moon. Sylar's now going to join the fight, and Moon is battling it out, but he knows the life steal won't save him. He will end up going down, but he did buy time for the rest of his team to get out, it looks like. OG, maybe Fly, TPing out, revealed, telekinesis, Fly. A third pick off there on OG.
Did cost the buyback from Sylar though. I kind of want them to go for tier 1 bottom. You kind of have to go for some kind of objective, because now you've slowed down any sort of item timing that Sylar is going to be able to get. If this AC is going to come online so late, he had to blow so much of his gold. Maybe he's got the BKB now, but there's almost no chance that OG are going to sit passive and wait for you to get enough time to the AC. Like, there's just going to be a time period where OG decide, okay, now's the time to run at you. The Lycan's not going to have enough of an impact in the next fight. We can blow everything on him, because we know he doesn't have buyback.
AC definitely would have been the bigger game changer than BK. Forgot about before.
Yeah.
See what maybe he can do though. Pressure is really on his shoulders at this point in time. This ROTK unfortunately doesn't have enough farm to really be that big, impactful Enchantress against OG, who are tanked up as all hell. Scotty and Broodmother, Miracle just having now a Butterfly. Really needed that complete Ags by now if you want to feel the power of ROTK's Enchantress.
What do you feel like about the Midas on the Enchantress?
I think there are a lot of items that Enchantress needs to pick up. So I think it does make a decent amount of sense.
Okay. I kind of feel like he shouldn't be putting himself as a main core. I feel like the Midas just slowed things down. He didn't seem really get active, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, in my head when I'm looking at this strategy, it feels like he should be trying to get active, and perhaps the Midas was a way to make sure that he didn't fall behind being active, but he had plenty of time just to be able to farm up normally from the way he was playing.
That's the Midas paradox. If you're ahead, you grab a Midas to get further ahead. If you're behind, grab a Midas to make sure you can catch up.
You just pretty much never get a Midas if it's in, unless the enemy gets a Midas.
Yeah.
There's the third role of Midas. If the enemy gets a Midas, you get a Midas too.
The Midas paradox. So OG, their game plan is simple. Just wait for Roshan. Conveniently, as I say it, it respawns right then. As LGD, they're going to be hard-pressed to make this defense, honestly. If they give up this Roshan for free, Miracle's really stacked right now with 90k net worth. After this, he'll have 20k, he's going to have an Aegis, and they're going to have Cheese. And you won't have buyback on hero that keeps getting gone on. So LGD almost sort of out of options. They've got to play this next fight perfectly, but really difficult because No Tail can just sack his life. Actually, the Noe Sylar.
Throw himself. Sylar every single time. Disable him long enough for the Doom to come in.
Yeah, they have buyback too. The Batrider, so he can just go in, do everything he can to kill Sylar, and then just buy back, T back in. They take a 4v5 fight with Aegis Cheese. What are you meant to do there?
They have Shiva's on crit as well. Gold.
Definitely wait for it. Are there any other big items that they're waiting for? Oh, they're gonna create. They've hit the sick timing. Everybody's gonna get an item at once.
Pretty good for OG. Once again, they've got really good control of this game. It just seems like they're outclassing LGD at this kind of playstyle. Every step of this game and last game felt like OG know what LGD is going to be doing and have countered it.
This has got to be so frustrating if you're LGD. You saw some moments of hope, but you were never really able to capitalize. You took the tier 2 mid, things looked okay, but at some point things just kind of spiraled out, and now you've been hemmed into your base, and this is the worst possible feeling for a lineup that features a lot of control and push. He's going to push out one more wave at top, but has to start making his way at bottom.
Then take out the range tracks, or maybe not. Miracle has to back out, can't fully commit to that one. Still though, he doesn't really get punished. Have the healing ward bring him back up to full HP. He can always try again. Jump in, Batrider, grab an RTK this time around. They're gonna go for the quick pickoff in the Enchantress. Now, RTK does have buyback, and perhaps this is LGD's best opportunity to fight, is trying to catch OG, perhaps being a little bit too cocky inside the base. But that being said, RTK just fought back, and OG doesn't really seem to care. They continue to go for the melee racks. Miracle makes that commitment. He's going to be caught in the process on his way out, but that just like number one. OG are going to turn and fight around Miracle here, or maybe just swap him back out. Shiva's going in. Crit's actually going to try and tune out and Doom, but unfortunately, he's not able to do a whole lot there, as maybe gets off his BKB first, as well as God's Strength, and just fights it out. OG now have to back themselves away. They've already lost Broodmother and the Vengeful Spirit. They do not want to be losing any of these cores.
A really good engagement for LGD where you want maybe to be the one that gets doomed, especially if he has his God's Strength and his BKB off already. He doesn't really care. Bit of a misplay by OG, but still, they got what they came for, which was the racks at bottom. They even managed to grab both of them, and they didn't lose their Juggernaut. I think it matters the most. LGD, I don't know, you feel like that was worth it for them? They killed 3, but full set of racks and used their glyph.
No, absolutely not.
Just a straight up.
I mean, it's a second. Like, if it was the first lane of Rax, I could kind of consider it.
Oh, hell yeah. If it was the first lane.
Yeah, it was the first lane of Rax, like, all good. But second lane of Rax, against this kind of lineup, like, OG are so far ahead, what's stopping them from just, like, suiciding? They literally just can ignore all of LGD and just focus on the last lane of Rax, get Megas, and what do you do from there?
Yeah. You notice that Miracle just spins every time?
Yeah.
And he's got the butterfly plus a solar crest on him, so he's hitting the building, and the only person that can hit him is the Enchantress, because nobody else wants to step forward close enough.
Yeah, like, OG had that really well planned out, right? The Enchantress popped back, and they didn't all like, oh, panic, back that back. No, they were just like, alright, Miracle will be on the front line. Everyone else backed away and sat defensively around Miracle.
Oh, that was scary. MMY had Doom. You saw Sylar pop his life wolf form. Saw the opportunity to cancel the spin.
Left for OG to pick up. Is there anything that they can get that's new, or go high ground again?
OG. You could wait for the Doom to get like a blink, but
Doom blink. You wait as long as next Roshan. You could say that's the very safe play, but in a way, it does give LGD more time to farm up with some significant heroes like Lycan and Zen.
oh, it looks like they are gonna go for this GG play. If they win this fight, and you notice at the same time Sylar's pushing in the mid wave,
Yep.
this means that they're getting something out of this. So if they get like 2 or 3 kills here, and hope that OG don't have buyback on the heroes that they kill, they'll have already conveniently pushed up this mid wave, and now they have a win condition. I kind of like this move.
Yeah.
They know that they can't just play back. That's the death winning game.
You have to actually find a way to be able to win, and obviously getting a team fight right outside of OG's base and then pushing in, hoping, well, maybe that they don't have buyback, or maybe just forcing the buyback. Miracle, nice jump from MMY, throws out the Doom. That, very good kill. LGD found exactly what they needed to be able to put pressure high ground. Now, obviously, we know there is a buyback from the Juggernaut, but that's still a big win for LGD if they can force Miracle to use that, and they can retreat without getting caught.
Yeah, that's a condition for them, that they can now force the buyback, and now Miracle's in a position where
If he
if
dies,
he dies again. I like that move a lot from LGD. I feel like if you just wait in your base, it's too much is left to chance.
Dire's middle tower.
So, tier 3, now the jump in, Shiva immediately, OG, buyback, and are going to engage right away. They've already taken out the Sven, and Doom has been down, but they got up his Doom, and MMY managed to steal it. He's actually going to be able to get away with that one. ROTK, he's not getting away, though. Run down by No-Tail, as well as Miracle. 2 for 1, but they forced the buyback.
And they got the
actually
racks.
still got the melee racks, thanks to the familiars, and they have Doom in their back pocket for MMY. That felt like another big win for LGD.
Yeah, and OG sort of have to be careful. They don't. Risking this is really scary, because if Miracle dies right now and your team somehow slips up and loses the fight, even if you get the mega creeps, there's a chance that LGD can just blitz you down in mid lane and pop the Lycan Necros and go for your throne.
Yeah, it's like kind of Crit just gave them the ability to kill Miracle.
Yeah.
The Doom being stolen. Is there something Crit's doing wrong in his combination? Because part of the problem is you no longer have a level death to actually get rid of your last spell cast, which is Doom. Should he be holding on to Scorched Earth to use it immediately after Doom?
Maybe. I'm not really seeing the scenario, in all honesty. I'm not even watching, like, MMI just getting in every single fight, though. Clearly that's a misstep. He shouldn't get it 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Maybe this is just playstyle adjustment that Crit's gonna have to learn from. We haven't seen a whole lot of the new Doom, first of all, and then we've seen probably about as little Rubik from this tournament as well.
Pack is only available on LGD heroes. OG are just gonna circle out and back up. What a weird position OG have been put in.
Where they're actually rather close to one misplay and potentially losing the game, despite being really far up.
OG still have a ton of control, obviously. They're 2 sets of racks ahead. But this game is... At some point, I think the chances of LGD were winning were like 5%. Now I think it's closer to like 10-15. Next Roche fight will determine a lot for them. If they can kill Miracle free BKB, then he's put into that 4-minute zone where anything can happen for LGD. Still a tough task. I don't want it to sound easy, but I'm always down for the comeback.
Do they have any smokes or anything? No, but they've got the gem at least. So if they can perhaps just kill some of these wards from OG, which they've already done, there's no vision whatsoever up from OG. Got things out with wolves constantly. Find the fight they're looking for. They're gonna try and go high ground here. OG are set up decently well. This is fighting into a Bat Rider as well. This is definitely bad country.
It looks like LGD are a little bit hesitant, but MMY is just gonna do an illusion.
No.
I think it was about to fade anyways.
Yeah. No.
Oh, it's still at times.
Yeah. there was still like probably.
Come on, man! I was just trying to help him out.
I don't think we need to forgive MMY. He's already stolen Doom like 3 or 4 times.
He's got Omnislash like twice too.
Impressive enough. Yeah.
MMY's done things. It's easy to get excited there, anyways, but OG refused to give up the high ground, which they should. They should just camp on that area. They should know that Doom is down soon from MMY. Pretty good scenario for them now to take the fight. I think the only way that they reliably kill Miracle with that cheese is with the Doom.
I'll take that as tribute.
He actually completing KB, so if he uses the cheat, he'll pick that one up.
You wouldn't like to see it on him?
No, I was just thinking if there was another item on for, but I guess like any of the other items, like Blink only works well with Abyssal and vice versa. He already has Butterfly and Scotty, so there's no other traditional tanky items to go for.
I think he just wants to kill RTK, honestly.
Yeah. They already have both armor items as well, so there's really nothing like Juggernaut could get to just like try and ink up. Make sure he doesn't get popped.
Like
He's
Moon
already got everything.
Almost everybody from LGD have buyback. This makes things even weirder for OG is they can't just directly go for it, which they could have a little bit ago, but again, OG is respecting LGD's win condition, just playing slowly, waiting for the Roshan, fighting around this cliff, being absolute sure that nobody runs away, and the burden is on LGD to have to force something. The wave is going to consistently push up. Luckily for them, they have the Visage Birds and the Lycan Wolves, but still, point you're going to have to bring the birds to the fight.
Just because you can scout out the Roshan pit doesn't mean that you can afford to walk away from it. You're still going to stand nearby, and that's leaving only wolves and familiars to try and split push out.
Maybe OG even go for a smoke or something, but they're just going to go straight in for it.
Smoke wrap around maybe. Could have done, but they just man mode up. Roshan, Aegis, and Cheese are going to be on the ground, and LGD are not prepared for that. Got Miracle now with an Aegis, and Cheese number 2 by Doom.
Good one.
Usually don't stack cheeses, but I don't really think OG care that much.
Is there a cooldown on them? Okay, so OG, obvious objective at the top, but still, buybacks on anybody. Like, if they could kill Miracle twice, doesn't have buyback. Maybe they should even be careful for that. He's so far away from it.
I mean, they can't go for that pickoff right now, though. Too hard to fight into Aegis and Cheese, so they have to wait probably 4 or 5 minutes before they go for that kind of engagement. Fortunately, smoke is up soon, but if only the smoke was up right now. Indeed, that surprise initiation, you know, where you see like some teams where they start just barreling down a lane and you do some sort of wraparound play.
Yeah.
That's what they desperately need here. They're going to try and pop Miracle. This is so essential to be able to get that kill, but no, the Visage Familiars, they don't manage to chain it up. They finally do kill him, but again, that's just the Aegis. He's going to be coming back, ready to go with that Omnislash. Meanwhile, maybe it's been kind of deep into No Tail, and he is food for fodder here as Miracle comes in with life number 2, rips him a new one. Flying, he's being chased down by these Impetus shots. Now the rest of his team has joined in, providing some against Sylar. And OG maybe comes back in. Oh, nice two-man stun. He's actually going at Miracle. The Omni Slash is bouncing around, not dealing enough damage. Barely can't even deal with the Necronomicon. Swap backs out though, Fly, hoping to be able to save Miracle's life as OG unable to penetrate.
They're gonna get him again.
Defense, and to get the stun. Miracle, he's gonna phase boots away, but the Vintage Familiars are on top of him, and triple kill for maybe. The buyback, well worth it for LGD. They win the fight and maybe just take some control of this game. Granted, their base is rapidly under siege from creeps. Still a win.
I think this is their timing, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they just go for it right now. They have buyback on pretty much everybody. Sylar's still dead, but you've got 80 seconds to deal with this. Maybe he's incredibly farmed. There's no buyback on the bat. He does actually have buyback. So it's just going to be Enge and the Juggernaut. Does have buyback too. Brood Mother doesn't. But OG now they're in such a this is such a sick scenario by LGD that they've even played it this close. That was an Aegis Juggernaut that they just killed twice.
Yeah.
They didn't lose anything for it. They lost like Sylar.
Especially with maybe like I'm not sure like him getting lassoed so deep into that jungle was such a unfortunate position for him to be in, but he really made up for it. Buyback starts with a two-man stun.
They don't have the buyback on the Sven, and I think this is going to signify signal LGD to maybe just go for it. The Lycan doesn't have travels or anything like that, but he can make his way pretty quickly down. Hey, they're just going to circle around. Maybe they just assume everybody is buyback ready and available and they don't want to risk it.
Yeah. And honestly, even if they didn't have buyback, which obviously they didn't, just not enough death time still them to actually push high ground before the Juggernauts back up.
If everybody else does too, you can probably hold it on OG with a decent fight and a decent Doom. I think that crit, wasn't really able to get off like a really good Doom. Miracle's alive again though. 634 gold for the buyback. Instantly gonna... Since it looks like... Realizes that Moon's already there. Sylar makes his way at top. Gonna go on No Tail.
No Tail has to lasso, but... full army of Sylar doesn't care if the general is slightly tied up. Another great pickoff there from LGD. Honestly, I am just like astounded at the number of times that they have avoided disaster by getting some sort of clutch win condition, keeping this game going. I mean, they've been 2 lanes of racks down now for like 10 minutes.
It's been 15k gold pretty consistently, 12k experience for quite some time, and
you still have 2 cheeses on OG.
Yeah, they...
Too bad you can't break that one apart.
Definitely have... OG still have a lot of different ways to win. The problem right now is LGD is starting to get a little bit more emboldened. He did have to use the buyback on Sven, and he won't have it for another 4 minutes, but they do want to grab an objective out of this. OG is really reluctant fighting this. The Juggernaut doesn't have buyback. I think they're just going to give up this tier 2 tower. They shouldn't risk Miracle's life over this one. Imagine if ROTK gets an MKB, by the way.
Dire's bottom tower has
That will actually... Yeah, I'm insane.
Yeah.
That butterfly, he'll just destroy Juggernaut.
I think that's the win item for them, honestly. Doubted ROTK's Midas, but joke's on me.
Time now. They'll have really good high ground defense at that point in time. They'll have 2 Blink Initiators. They'll have an Enchantress sitting in the back being the Plasma Cannon. She is essentially with the MKB ignoring the evasion of the heroes.
I sort of think that she might have to be the Doom target.
I agree.
It's starting to prove that maybe and the Lycan, they both get their transformation ultimates off. It doesn't really matter so much. It's either you get off the Doom onto Sylar or send before they BKB or get their ultis off, or the Enchantress does.
50 minutes in. When's the next? 2 or 3 more minutes. Smokes. 1 smoke on LGD. No smokes on OG. They've got 1 up and 2.
Can't believe.
So this is actually LGD in a better position right now.
They're fine. Like
they've
10k gold is nothing.
Yeah, they took away the gem actually from OG earlier. They have better map control. They have the smoke play. So many opportunities here, and if they get a pick off on No Tail once again, he's forced to pop his BKB, but it doesn't matter. Oh Jesus, Sylar. The crits are too much for No Tail to handle.
Sylar's just a game winner. You know what the thing about Sylar is that he doesn't take these risks normally, but I feel like LGD said, screw it. I'm done playing defensive Dota.
Yeah. I mean, they've been in so many situations where it's like, this is the only, like, what was the first time? It was when they played aggressively, right? And they were looking for the pickoff. They smoked up through the Seek Shop. We talked about how, like, that was the best play for them at that time because they needed to be able to get a pickoff on the OG side of the map to try and force something.
Yes.
And they did. And it started with that. It started with that one little thing, and I was like, that's what you have to do right now. That is like the only play. And then they've done kind of like the only play time and time again. And now the ball's in their court. They actually have a plethora of options available to them.
Oh, RTK, by the way, went for a Hex. I kind of see that too. I just wanted to see him turn into like the machine gun.
Yeah, me too.
But
now they have some sort of counterplay against the Bat Rider besides just Rubik.
Sylar's got the MKB as well. Like, they have a lot of items to deal with this lineup now.
OG Goldcraft.
Oh, OG has really started to fall behind when it comes to items. Like Doom, he's had that Shivas for the original push, if you remember, and that was like during the first Rax push. They've just been stuck.
Maybe Crit should have. They had 15k lead at 5 minutes. Now
So
only
fast.
8,000.
That's a workable number this late into the game.
Oh.
A lot of that just comes down to like Rack/Tower Gold.
KB complete for the Lycan. He can actually target Juggernaut. The worst part is, between Wolves and Necronomicon minions, there's not much that Juggernaut can actually do to turn and fight the Lycan. And really, Omni Slash, that's just going to be soaked up rather easily.
So I'm kind of surprised that you went for the Hex, honestly. The MKB would have meant so much. So much evasion on the side of OG. I don't even think it's a control issue. As soon as Miracle spins, you kill him. But
It's almost like Miracle has to... Isn't that part of the BKB, right? Later on in the game, the spin becomes rather unreliable, right? Because you're essentially silencing yourself. You can't use Omni Slash. You actually just get targeted down during your spin timing. You don't get up Omni Slash. It's like game losing.
Yo.
So you need magic immunity. BKB is actually the better option at that point to make sure you get off Omni Slash every time.
a spin does like no damage.
Right.
Just doesn't even matter at that point. You're making the way into their own jungle is you're kind of just camped out in there. Everybody's just trying to get buyback up now.
I mean, you said the last Roshan, like the Aegis and She's probably didn't matter like that much because the transformational abilities on both sides.
Yeah.
It seems like LGD and OG are still going to try and fight around Roshan. They aren't. LGD are actually just giving OG a lot of space, even though Roshan could be up at any moment. Maybe LGD are actually going to try and wait for OG to take a Roshan, Aegis, and Cheese and let them push into. LGD are smoked up. No Tail's looking for the initiation. He does manage to get off the BKB. Lasso onto Baby with Doom. Follow up. They're going to be able to take out Baby first. He does have buyback though. Miracle Omni Slash. Oh, one full loaded sword. That's not what he wanted at all. Miracle ends up not doing very much with that one at all. Sylar has come back into play. Looks for Moon. It's actually been duped up. MMY. Once again, he controls the Broodling and takes him out of action. Sylar having a bit of issues here. Flying, desperately trying to get the last bit of damage to kill him off. The Earth's taking him down. Tick, tick, tick.
Oh, we should have liked
it. He gets him. Crit comes in, but it's going to cost him his life. OG lose out big time. Still, though, LGD had to throw down 2 different buybacks. This is all in time. They got to do something big with these buybacks.
They were forced to buy back on their 2 main cores. The Enchanter still has the buyback available, but without the 2 available, I think they just go for some big objectives here. It's going to be the Roshan first and foremost. Probably drop the Lycan as a slot, so this is pretty perfect. And then ROTK maybe drops the drums of the Hanamitis and grabs the cheese. but for LGD, I think it's go time. Like push out the mid lane with Sylar.
You can't just use buybacks on both your carries and not try and force something out of OG at this point in time.
Oh, this is so smart. Maybe he's just dropped the SNY. He doesn't even care about it. He's like, I need the Aegis the most. Sylar had a slot available, but I don't think he even cares about it. You can give him the cheese.
Look what OG are doing. Like, I love this play because you know LGD cannot back up to defend it. Just can't. They'll lose too much time. They need to try and force something. Miracle, he's just gonna go straight for the tier 4 tower. Are you kidding me? He's gonna be able to take out the tier 4 and had no HP whatsoever. The throne has already been exposed.
It's not a race.
OG do have to back out. It's a race back to the Radiant throne as all hands on deck. No Tail and Miracle back themselves away. What a smart play that was. That just completely. We were talking about how LGD had to do something with that buyback, and that one quick play through the top lane. LGD can do nothing with that buyback. They are now at a disadvantage for the next 4 minutes.
It was so hilarious. It was like, everybody from LGD was like, they steeled themselves. They're like hard committed. They're like, okay guys, we're all in. Nobody has travels or anything.
And then they watch his Miracle just walk straight past that tier 3. He's like, nah, I'm not going for Vegas.
What was that?
No.
So clowny. You just saw this panic in LGD. There's like, they're just like marching down, and then everybody pops everything to pop. Just war cry down, pop up his ulti. Everybody's just like, run.
Yeah, you know, it's gotta be almost like in a way anticlimactic for LGD. They're probably going like, they're gonna take megas, but we're gonna go throne. And then they're like, oh wait.
I can just imagine like ROTK like pumping his team up. He's just like,
let's go. Retreat!
How do you even recover from that? Just, how do you tell yourself to do that twice?
Now we see the serious conundrum LGD are in with those 2 lanes racked down so early and their tier 4 towers eventually being chipped down. Are there any fresh items that are going to be picked up? We recently had a Ether Lens being picked up on Rubik. RTK has 4k gold on him right now, so that is actually potentially new item, but that's kind of it for them. Meanwhile, we have the completed Scythe of Ice now on Crit, so he's got Blink, Shivas, and Hex. Him actually the strongest initiator on his team now.
The weird thing is,
the Bat Rider.
LGD are looks like they're winning the fights, but really it's just they've had to commit so many X on their core heroes.
Yeah.
And OG, they've been fighting on the other side of the map, so they haven't. So almost everybody on OG has a buyback available. The only person that doesn't is Crit. But he's just picked up a fresh.
Oh, Sylar, you can't die here, but the Omni Slash puts the last Omni Slash bounces over the Necronomicon. He gets off the cheese. He'll be good. Sylar runs himself away unless Crit can somehow stop him. He's got Scythe and Shivas, but that transformation ultimate just lasts a bit too long. Lycan will be able to get away with the shapeshift.
GD really want to use this Aegis if at all possible.
Alright, so if you're keeping track of timings, there is a very small window where OG could have a huge advantage. The Aegis goes down in 2 minutes, but the buybacks are not back up for LGD in 3 minutes. Is that your window to push his OG, or are you good enough control of this game that you're just like, nah, let's just wait it out, wait for a good opportunity for a pick or something like that?
Hey, OG can do whatever they want in this game right now. Like, they have so much time. There's an exposed throne. That's the biggest thing. If there were 2 towers right there, OG, their priorities change dramatically. Then they probably go for mega creeps or something like that. But because of the exposed throne, pretty much means that LGD can't push unless they have the glyph up, or they have all the treble 2s in the world. But without that available, LGD are in this weird position where they can win fights, but OG are never gonna oblige. Never gonna fight them head on.
At a Scythe soon or no tail, or what's this?
I'd imagine so.
Is the Lincolns at all?
No,
so. Right? They have no abilities to go through BKB, so his BKB is good enough.
Unless you think that Doom's gonna get stolen again in King next level.
Damn it, Crit! Up that. All right, now Basher Abyssal is coming for Miracle. A little while, meanwhile in the middle lane. Oh, the drag back! Doom! ROTK! Yes, he is very, very dead. He does have buyback though. And you could almost say that trade-off might be worth it. MMY once again steals Doom. Crit's gotta come up with a different game plan with this one. I don't know. I'm It looks like he even tried to devour to make sure it didn't get stolen.
I mean, at this point, MMI's just turned this into like a mini game. He doesn't even care if he loses anymore. This is just Mario Party. How many times can I get Doom?
Alright, so the Aegis is down now. Roshan up in another 3 minutes. They hit the 16-minute marker. What's been the longest game we've had so far? You know, Blitz?
For me, this is the longest that I've casted so far.
I think so as well. Then again, we've only had...
Oh, maybe he goes for it.
Oh, maybe! He's trying to dunk on Moon! He managed to get the swap out, though. Now that she's gonna be in, he managed to pop the lifesteal, turns back to fight again. He wasn't doing maybe, but they're just getting destroyed! That AoE claim takes down 2, easy peasy. Now the Doom stolen by MMY comes into play. They get a little bit on Miracle. They take him out as well. OG, they have the full buyout here to defend against LGD's incoming mid push.
As Miracle's dying, he's like, screw you, crit!
Crit, why? Oh man. Alright, LGD. This is a ball game, folks. They are just now getting their buybacks back into play. Except for RTKs. He had to use her a lot later.
Hey, okay. I think the game plan, hear me out, is get buyback on everybody and then just go for it. Like, just get buyback on your 2 cores. Screw the Enchantress. Just get it on the spend and the Lycan.
Yep.
Pick up the buybacks and just hope for the Miracle fight. Like, you brought yourself this far. You can't lose playing defensively.
Yep.
LGD just won't have that. You're going to be a sleepless night if they end up losing this game after working this damn hard.
I'm going to add a slight addendum to your plan, because I love it. Believe me, I love it. But let's wait 60 seconds for Doom to come back on Rubik. Let's make sure we have that cat in the bag, because I love it when it pops out on OG every single time. It's hilarious.
MMY just... What's going on right now?
I'm waiting for MMY to get refresher so we can double Doom somebody.
This is...
they actually... Do you wait on Abyssal on Sylar? No, I'm with your plan. LGD may not, though. They may actually try and just farm it up.
No, I think
get Abyssal Blade on Sylar.
I don't think you wait for the Abyssal. I think you wait for the
either.
594 gold on him. The Sven already has it now. The Enchantress won't, but you kind of accept that because now the Juggernaut doesn't. So everything you have goes on the Jug. MMI's got the Doom up available in 16 short seconds. This is the best possible setup I've seen for them all game. All Lycan has to do is farm an additional 600 gold, and I think you're comfortable going for that, honestly. Because there's no scenario where LGD don't get some sort of trade. So it's not like they'll just go for weird pick-off and OG just dominate them. I think maybe it's just too strong. Like, you saw him just late into them.
It's himself a regen.
Arm Sylar.
Can have buyback boots of travel. Boots of travel on Sylar, though. That is a little bit of an issue, right? Your whole buyback play.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
You just need it in case. It's like the contingency plan for when things go horribly.
Oh, see, I thought you were saying double down.
No,
like, buyback, bots in, let's go.
No, I'm saying the worst possible thing happens with get wiped and OG barely holds, then LGD can just buy back and go for it anyways.
And Roshot. And as LGD started backing themselves away, they can
hold
actually
it.
take it right away.
For ROTK! This is the best timing! The lane is pushing up mid, bottom is pushed out. ROTK, and everybody has buyback, and you know OG doesn't.
You've got supplies on everyone.
Oh, they're gonna be too late for the smoke too. This is so perfect.
Man.
You can't even script this.
No tail. We are saying that hanging around a lot of cliff areas. His initiation in this area could be key, but LGD looks like they've already made relatively clean break. They throw down a ward. Some vision here, no tail. To see his opportunity. He's gonna go in, pauses, actually starts to back himself out. Uh-oh. OG, they decided this isn't the fight they want to be able to take. They want to be able to try and defend at home. Cost them their Firefly, and LGD will gladly oblige with a push straight down bottom.
OG can't even believe that it's come to this, honestly. That they're put into this position. They
TP back. Maybe he's too scared.
No, I think they're just pushing out bottom as far as it can, and then they can go for it. I feel this Aegis timer has to be it, and buyback still isn't available for another 3 minutes on the Jug, and I think the other heroes on OG are almost irrelevant.
What was that necessary? Destroyed some Broodmother illusions with that God Strength. Now that's on cooldown for 70 seconds. I'm feeling like this isn't the Aegis.
Hey.
Yeah, that kind of play. Maybe it is back to the Abyssal.
I really feel like this was the.
I know. I'm with you on it. I'm with you on it. But
Jug doesn't have buyback for so long. They're gonna smoke. No, not cold feet at all.
Okay.
Maybe he's gonna show himself.
They have the boosted travels. They have the vintage familiars. Maybe can join them at any point in time.
Oh, this is brilliant. They just need one pick off on pretty much Juggernaut, and they're good. Brood even. The Brood doesn't have buyback either. He will shortly, but not really chancing leaving the base.
And then from behind, they see the ping. They ping it out. And now they see the opportunity. They know they're separated. No-Tail's going to be caught here. They're going to be able to burst him down nice and easy. And he does not have buyback. OG just lost a huge hero, their main initiator. Now going to fall on the shoulders of Crit.
2-minute buyback pull down for the Juggernaut. OG has to have the fight of their lifetime.
The buyback is coming up on Bat Rider though. Take gold. It is up now. They will have their full 5. Eye out now. LGD seem to be on base. Continuing to right-click down this tier 4. They're going to smoke up their initiation on a Sylar first. Crit's going to start backing himself up. Actually, Shiva's is set. He's not going to go for that Doom. RTK is the target by Moon. They take out the Enchantress, life number 1, and maybe goes down. He does have buyback, and he can come in with a boost of travel, but he's still going to have issues. There finally goes the Doom, but it's sold by MMY once again. He gets the telekinesis. He's going to hold on to that Doom for now. He doesn't want to use it. DDC is dead. LGD realizes this is not their fight. They're just going to run away with the Doom if possible and hold on to their buybacks until OG respond with a push of their own. RTK is going to be chased down. They can't really afford to lose him. He's the one hero that does not have buyback here. It's down for 50 seconds. Shivas doesn't quite hit him. It looks like RTK will be able to get out because of that one.
Oh no, so many mistakes. Maybe had the BKB.
The travel in, look out. Oh, they hand to Midas. 7-minute hand to Midas. It comes into play for ROTK.
I was like the best scenario. Maybe he was gonna have. He popped his God Strength, but he didn't BKB, so he got hexed, and before he could do anything, he gets laid out, and all they had to do was kill any of the heroes that didn't have buyback.
All right, so question for you, Blitz: Do you hold on to buyback on Lycan, or do you get the Abyssal Blade?
I think you hold on. You have to hold on to the buyback. They just misplayed that fight. Maybe went down without being able to do anything. He was the architect of their success. The amount of damage that he puts out with the crit. He needs to get that BKB off. Otherwise, what just happened, and now Miracle's got the buyback available in no time at all. OG are feeling quite emboldened by this because they know all it takes is one little tip.
That's why LGD need to kind of jump now, right? They kind of gotta get some sort of surprise fight in before OG center up with 5 heroes in your top lane, start pushing it down, and they have all buybacks. It seems like a no-win scenario for LGD. They have to get a little risky with it, don't they?
I don't even know. Like, they played patient for so long.
Yeah.
They did what I wanted though. They waited for all the buybacks. They had the Aegis available. They had the opportunity to win the fight. You're never gonna get a scenario that matches up that perfectly again. The buyback would have been down on Miracle. How many times is all of those things gonna line up for you, and you still don't win the fight?
What about OG? Okay. Maybe
if you're OG,
find their
do whatever you want because you have buyback on your Juggernaut.
Yeah, but why aren't they just like 5-manning down a lane? Do you think that is too risky?
Still think it's not 100% guaranteed that they win that fight, but they do want to take it on LGD side of the map because they know if they kill any of these cores, the game's over.
I mean, if they kill the Lycan and he say uses shapeshift during that fight and they manage to kill him, he buys back. What's a Lycan really gonna do without shapeshift?
You kill maybe and
he has no buyback.
He's all the damage on LGD.
Sage has no buyback.
Do you see how quickly ROTK went down? And the BKB Jug just hit him twice.
Yeah.
He folded. It's gotta be maybe. He's gotta play this fight perfectly.
G very patiently waiting outside LGD's base. Quite knocking on that door just yet. Wait for someone to peek out, see if they can grab him with No Tail first. No Tail is doing his rounds. Ding the LGD base.
Pinging ROTK right now.
If there's anything that they can advantage of.
Firefly's almost down though.
No. That refresher has so many opportunities.
PD is just
LGD
getting pushed further and further.
Yeah. Oh, the jump in, telekinesis, there's the Doom on a miracle. LGD, are they going to commit? They're popping shapeshift for this one. Same time, Throne is still under siege from all these creeps.
A lot has been used there.
Oh, and No Tail. He thinks that this little bit of chaos is his right time to strike. Gotta wait for the Doom to wear out, but it's done now.
No Doom available for LGD, which sounds weird to say, and they don't have the Lycan shapeshift anymore either.
On the upside, this means Crit is free to let Doom be stolen from him for the next 30 seconds if they force a fight. Still be on cooldown.
Radiant's ancient.
These Spiderlings are ticking down the bit by bit. Throne regen is not enough to deal with it.
Which you have all the time.
No Tail's going like deep south side. He's looking for that crazy initiation all the way in the back right. He managed to get a 2 pop door pressure. They've got the Doom on the baby. MY still with the Doom as well as bouncing back with a Lotus Orb. MY is trying to escape back to the fountain to see if he can keep that Doom in play. Meanwhile, the throne is a bit exposed. LGD can't sit in their fountain forever. They've already lost the Vintage. It is 4 versus 5 from here on out. But Crit, he's probably going to even out with a 4 versus 4. He ends up going down as well as the Juggernaut. Juggernaut is bought back. The Broodmother is dead and is not buying back. It looks like OG are not going to fully commit to this fight. They poked at LGD. They killed a hero for good for 90 seconds, but they're not going to try and abuse that.
I'll take that as tribute.
Could have bought back on the Broodmother, could have bought back on the Doom and just gone all in. But
I don't even know if you 100% win that fight though. And
yeah, I don't
LGD
think so
still
either.
have Glyph.
I mean, you've already used your Doom, so Doom is probably not all too useful as a hero coming back. Broodmother is Broodmother. She's good, but she's pretty dependent on that beast, so life number 2 isn't really that good for Broodmother either.
I think Miracle should have paused for a second there. Like, using the buyback was the most significant part of that entire engagement.
Yeah.
If he doesn't use the buyback there, then OG can just continue to play this game where they just look for that one fight. But now the Sven almost has it up again.
Yeah, and in a minute and a half, LGD are going to be able to take control of this map, and ones that Harry pick off.
I think a lot of people are wondering, like, why doesn't OG just go for Mega Creeps at top, but I think it would cost them too much.
Yeah.
They just pop the Glyph and LGD play around that fact. I think OG just kind of straight up lose. It takes them so long to kill a tower and 2 racks at this point. Like, you can't just ignore LGD's team fight ability anymore. Like, their heroes are too strong. They even have room to scale. Like, that Sven can get bigger.
Don't have the right kind of heroes to really be able to chip down a building without putting themselves in a...
Maybe he can. He's already eaten Moonshards. Worth Moonshards over, like... There's nothing really you can get. He needs a Lincoln badly. Alright, LGD, they've got back in 30 seconds on Sven. There's no buyback left on Miracle. Opportunity number 2 opened up for them.
30 seconds until Roshan. I'm not sure what this is going to mean, in all honesty, for either one of these teams, but LGD do have a Centaur currently scouting out the pit.
ROTK has room for the Aegis, and on top of that, the Sven has buyback. All 3 cores are going to have buyback here in a second. Travels on only their Sven, but not matter too much. Another opening has come up for LGD. Trickle sparring with Ben just in case. Everybody's waiting outside.
Tyler wrapping around. They're going to catch No Tail here. He's forced to pop his BKB, but managed to get the Abyssal Blade lock on him. And the one thing LGD may not know is he does not have buyback, because that's due to gold. Either way, LGD very likely to try and pressure to see if they can force the buyout of Bat Rider. And if they realize it's not there, they may choose to go in.
If they knew that the Bat didn't have buyback right now, they would just go for it. Because the Jug doesn't have buyback available for another 3 minutes, and at worst it's a 4v5, and it looks like LGD are actually going to go for it. They don't really care anymore. They know that the Jug still doesn't have buyback. All 3 of their cores have it. They might just be saying to themselves, we might as well.
Shapeshift, 12 more seconds. Everything else up though. Start beating on the tier 4 towers. OG gotta find their initiation somehow. So many creeps as well. Tech's not going to be a great Omni Slash. Moon already in the middle. Pops BKB, starts looking at ROTK. But a big crit comes out from Maybe. Eliminates the Broodmother. And she comes back, but she won't have the BKB we're talking about. They're just going straight for Throne. They get the side device, but it was Lotus back on the grid. Controlling of these heroes. They're just taking down the Throne. Objective-based gaming. It's stalled at LGD. Careful, but maybe he's taken out. Silent gets taken out as well. The buyouts, they gotta go straight for Throne. ROTK chipping away at it with Maybe. They get it.
Oh my god.
Game number 2 is taken by LGD. We go to a full series here.
OG, if they lose this series, they are going to be so mad.
Oh, unbelievable. LGD, of champions, really. We talked about multiple times how they had to do. I mean, they just took a winner's approach to this game. They